Hello and welcome to Castles and Legends. Today we are at Croft Castle, another castle surprisingly. So this is a National Trust castle. It dates back quite a long way with the Croft family history. However, the castle we see behind me now is not the original castle. I believe it's been actually rebuilt 3 times, but we'll get into a bit of the history in a minute. So first things first, let's go and have a look. Croft Castle is located in the village of Croft in Herefordshire. The site was first established in around 1085 by the Croft family, and for the majority of its existence it has been their family home. The original structure established was a Motte and Bailey fortification by Bernard de Croft, who founded the Croft family and was a descendant of the Norsemen from northern France. There are no remains of this original structure today. Bernard spent his latter years in Norfolk and left his lands to his sons. By the 1400s, it was home to Sir John de Croft, who ended up being caught up in the Welsh Revolt due to him marrying Owain Glyndwr's daughter, Janet. Later, in the 15th century, the Croft family adopted the Welsh wyvern as their crest. This could have been done in commemoration of Glyndwr's final defeat at Harlech Castle. The Croft family were connected to the nearby Mortimer family of Wigmore and Ludlow. In 1461, Sir Richard Croft sided with the House of York during the Battle of Mortimer's Cross, a major battle in the War of the Roses. The Yorkists defeated the Lancastrians at the battle, and this was a contributing factor to the Yorkist Edward IV's final victory and ascension to the throne. Sir Richard's great-grandson, Sir James Croft, was implicated in the attempt to overthrow Queen Mary in 1553, led by Sir Thomas Wyatt. As a result, James was sent to the Tower of London, where Princess Elizabeth was also being held as a prisoner. Wyatt was executed, and fearing a similar fate, James chose not to volunteer any confession nor implicate Elizabeth. When Elizabeth became queen, she rewarded Sir James's loyalty with estates in Herefordshire and Kent, and appointed him as overseer of the royal household's finances. It was likely that Sir James Croft was the one who decided to pull down the medieval castle. It was then replaced with an Elizabethan mansion constructed of brick. The new structure was much more elaborate, symbolising the status in which Sir James had earned. By the late 1500s, and after the death of Sir James, the family started to run into financial issues. Firstly, Sir James's son, Edward, was put into prison due to running up debts. As a result, Edward never inherited the castle, and instead it was entrusted to his son, Herbert. Herbert was not much better, also running up debts after doing some extensive work to the castle in the early 17th century. He built the medieval revival-style shell with its turrets that is present today. In both instances, both Edward and then later Herbert fled the country due to their financial issues, leaving the castle to Herbert's sons. The castle passed to Herbert's eldest son, William, who at the time of the English Civil War sided with the Royalists. William was caught by the parliamentarians at Hereford and imprisoned until the Royalists retook the city. In 1645, William rode to the nearby Stokesay Castle to support the Royalist forces that were being besieged. The parliamentarians broke through and William was forced to flee, being pursued by the parliamentarians all the way back to Croft. As he reached the grounds, he was shot and killed. The castle passed on to his brother, James Croft, but by this time the castle was in a very poor state, and he chose to settle in London and died in 1659 childless. The Croft estate then passed to William's younger brother Herbert. The Croft family's position improved as he was appointed Bishop of Hereford, and he used his salary to rebuild Croft Castle, as well as add a new wing onto the north side. The Croft family was significantly affected financially following the South Sea bubble. The financial collapse of the South Sea Company in 1720, which ruined many investors. In 1746, the family were forced to sell the estate to Richard Knight, whose family wealth came from the ownership of the Bridgewood Iron Works. Richard's daughter, Elizabeth Knight, married Thomas Jones, who brought in Thomas Farnells Pritchards, who was responsible for remodelling the castle's interior and exterior in the Rococo Gothic style. Pritchards is also credited as the designer of the world's first iron bridge at Coalbrookdale in Shropshire, and is also attributed to the neo-Gothic styles found in Shropshire and Herefordshire. The castle was then put up for sale in 1799 by Thomas Jones' son, also Thomas, and bought by Somerset Davies. Croft Castle finally returned to the Croft family when it was sold in 1923 to Catherine Lady Croft by Somerset Davies' descendants. The castle had already undergone some changes prior to the exchange. The central section of the 18th century Gothic entrance was replaced with a battlemented porch and bay window above. Oak panelling lined the entrance hall, and a lot of the parapets, crenellations, which Pritchards had added, were removed. The north wing was also demolished. In 1957, the castle was threatened with complete demolition. However, luckily for Croft Castle, the National Trust agreed to take on looking after the castle and estate. It has been open to the public since 1960, but the house is still occupied by members of the Croft family. The Church of St. Michael and All Angels is situated in close proximity to the castle and is believed to have had some presence from as early as the 12th century. The present church was likely built in the 14th century and later expanded and remodelled in the 15th and 18th centuries. So we had a nice look around the castle. It's not that extensive, only part of it is open to the public to have a look, because actually part of it, the Croft family still have apartments there. Anyway, so we had a nice look around the castle, had a look around the gardens, very pretty, the walled gardens, and there's lots of walks here. The land is extensive, there's lots of different walks for different levels of ability, from about half an hour to a couple of hours, like 5 miles or more walks. So if you want a nice day out, this is a good place to come. Yeah, I think that's probably about all for today. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for watching today. Please hit that like button and subscribe to join me on my next adventure. Bye for now.